He called me and asked me to help him with the deal. And I said, here's the agreement we've got to have. I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to do it because you're my friend, I love you, and I will get a commission on the other end from these people. However, I want you to give me a meaningful guitar, something you've played in Boston with or you're known for.
I wanted to hurt your feelings.
I've been, he presented me with 2 guitars to choose from. This one I chose because it was on the second album, was really when they hit their peak during, Don't Look Back, because the first album had now already taken hold. They were playing stadiums at this point. And in fact, it's the only, yeah, that's right. It's the only show that's ever been really properly filmed of Boston.
Yeah, you were saying this.
He didn't feel the TV and the speakers and everything would do justice to it. And so he just never did that. And I don't know why or how it worked out, but one stadium show in New York was filmed and recorded. You can catch it on, you go on YouTube, it's actually up there. And if you do, this is the guitar he's playing for the whole show.
Do we dare open it now so that you guys can go to YouTube and look at it? The only Boston vintage recording ever in a stadium, Barry Goudreau. Let's open this up, guys. This case tells me that it's been places. This is
right.
like, a mom that has 7 children, but she's like, I don't take shit anymore. I've gone through that.
Pretty
life.
beat up to me, but I guess that's...
but that's part of the allure.
The character.
Oh, yeah. Look at this thing. So first off, this screams 70s all day to me. This is that walnut thing they did on every 70s guitar. And these actually look like they could be super distortions. If it's standard, if these are actually the pickups with the covers off. And as you can see, it looks like maybe one of these was there or these covers got taken off or whatever. I would be interested to see what these are because these to me look like super distortions. This is a Norland era Gibson. So this is actually the era of Gibson that inspired people to take the pickups out because they didn't like the pickups, which is why Barry probably told you he took them out a million times. Now, as we've alluded to in previous episodes, from 1961 to 1963, this was known as the Les Paul Custom. In the early 60s, Les Paul and Mary Ford both played guitars very similar to this. And they were called Les Paul Customs. And it had his name, and it would say Les Paul Custom. And then he said, I can't have it. Can't have it anymore. And they changed it over to what was originally the Les Paul Standard, but put in these block inlays and the open book headstock and all that. I mean, they had it in the 50s, but they had stopped from 61 to 63. And they said, this guitar is so sexy, we're going to keep making it. We're going to call it the SG. And that's what it is. And look at that. Signed by Mr. Goudreau. In the 70s, they made this volute to be stronger. A lot of people think it's ugly, but it was actually a very smart design.
You mentioned that. You can see the serial number, but it's really pretty faded.
Yeah, you can see it. And it's interesting, too, because he has Ibanez tuners on these. These are really cool. These are definitely not the original. This is just honest playware. If people look at this, Barry wore a belt. That's it. That's what we can discuss from this, because this is not really that beat up, because what I normally see on guitars from this time period is you'll see dings and dangs all over. This is just what we call honest wear. This is what happens when you look like you're 50 years old.
Yeah.
You know? I wouldn't know anything about it because I'm young forever. Does this solidify your relationship with Mr. Goudreau? Are we now officially happy? Like, as boss, is this the happy end of the story?
Well, I think he delivered. He gave me what I was looking for. Something with the provenance, as you would say.
I think you delivered, because I don't think he would have given this to you had you not. Because this is one of the most beautiful guitars, and it has the real mother of pearl inlays, which, as you know, I like mollusks. I don't like the mother of toilet seat that a lot of these came with. So this is cool, because this is the highest NSG, and I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that these are probably super distortion pickups. Half the Gibsons that came out at this time have these kind of bridges, which a lot of people don't like, but other people love them because it just screams this time period, just like this lovely brown shag rug back of a Volkswagen
Now,
car.
tell me something. Is this the kind of guitar that one cleans up?
No.
Or do you hang it on your wall?
Hang it on your wall. Because first off, this is not messed up. I mean, like this, all this iodine, this is just what happens. This oxidation, this is just what happens over time. It plays perfect. It plays perfect. It looks nice. I wouldn't clean it up. This is Barry's guitar. And you're not really going to do anything unless you refinish it and like take out all of this. You would ruin the guitar. So the answer is no. And it's totally playable. And this is definitely not as beat up as you would think. Like the guitar that we have in that case over there, that's beat up. That's like literally you pick it up and you're like, is this thing going to fall apart on me?
You're right. It is 50 years old.
It's 50 years old. This looks like a guitar that should be 50 years old. I mean, I'd get rid of the dust for sure. I'd clean this up and give it a nice setup, but it plays great. This is a player. It's a very cool guitar. And the fact that it has the provenance of Barry Goudreau and that you can go online and watch Barry during the time that mattered from Boston with Brad Delp. I don't need anything else other than that. For me, that's all it needs to be. And the fact that you have it from Barry and that we have Barry playing it here, you can go online, that's so cool. I just put it on your wall and play it.
Yeah, I mean, it is so cool. And I wish I'd seen as much as this guitar has seen. You can imagine, you know, like back in the 70s.
Yeah, Tom Schultz was so... I'm a neurotic guitarist, so I get it. He was so neurotic, he would literally do like 5-hour sound checks. That's not false, is it? Or like crazy sound.
I've heard those rumors.
I think Barry told me that him and Brad would go on stage and help the bands because they felt so bad that they'd been eating into their time. Sometimes the opening band didn't even get a sound check because like literally Tom Schultz is still there going, I don't know why the E string sounds weird. I mean, we need a new sound system in the whole stadium. This represents one of the coolest periods of time. You said the Don't Look Back tour. And this represents a time in Boston that apparently was never captured other than this moment. Paul, I want to thank you for showing this to me. This thing is so beyond cool. And Barry is such a great guitarist and such a cool dude. Please send my love to him and his wife and his whole family. They're great people. And I really love the whole Boston crew. So thank you for sharing all this information with us.
Thanks for checking it out for me.
No problem. If you ever need this thing set up, bring it down to Daddy. I'll make it nice.
Why don't you smash that subscribe button already?